All right. Thanks you guys so much for being on the Friends with Wheels podcast. If I could start off by getting a little bit of an overview of what Canine Companions is and how it started, that'd be great. Julia, if you could start off.
Yeah, happy to. Well, my name is Julia Schuehle. I work for Canine Companions at our Puget Sound field office in Seattle, but we are a national nonprofit. So we have campuses in all six regions of the country, and um, we're actually have been around for over 50 years now. So we were founded in 1975. Um, it was just a very small group in Santa Rosa, California, that kind of came together to train dogs. And Canine Companions is created the modern concept of a service dog. So, kind of what we see now as a service dog, assisting people with disabilities and kind of providing that independence that is so helpful to them in their daily lives. Um, and Our dogs do a lot of different things. So we provide not only service dogs to adults, children, and veterans with disabilities at no cost, we also provide facility dogs to professionals working in healthcare, education, and criminal justice settings. So those facility dogs will kind of serve more of a wider group of people rather than just be working with one individual. Um, and all of our dogs are provided at no cost. So our dogs are trained in up to 45 different tasks and are kind of uh, specified to help different people with different things that they may need. So we have um, service dogs like Naomi has with Windsor, but we also have service with facilitators. So those are service dogs assigned to children under 18 that are facilitated by a parent or guardian or caretaker. We also provide hearing dogs to people who are deaf or hard of hearing to alert to sounds. Um, we provide dogs to veterans with PTSD. So those dogs are specifically trained to interrupt patterns of anxiety. They can also interrupt nightmares, um, provide space in crowded public settings, um, and stuff like that. And we also just recently have started to be able to provide medical alert dogs to people with diabetes to alert to insulin levels and um, help managing those, you know, those struggles that people with diabetes endure.
Mm-hmm. Because I recently I met someone at a gym about a week or two ago, and I saw her with a service dog, and she said, and I asked her what do you use it for, and she said, it's basically for like because I she had like mental health issues or was dealing with mental health issues, and she explained to me what the purposes were, what kind of devices she used to like help her in certain situations. That I did not know. So that's kind of pretty cool that a dog has a lot of, uses and can be used a variety of different ways.
Yes. So kind of expanding on that, some of the main tasks that our dogs are trained to do are picking up dropped items and retrieving it to a person. They can tug open doors and drawers, whether it's, a bedroom door, the fridge, or a cabinet in the kitchen. And then also push closed doors, drawers, washing machine. They can also switch on and off lights, open like push plates for automatic doors in public. Um, some of our a big one for facility dogs and also child placements. I also forgot to mention we provide service dogs to children with autism and is another kind of demographic that we serve. And those dogs often um, make a big difference with their if there's lap, visit, and cover tasks, which the dog is essentially putting pressure, like a soothing pressure on their lap or on their hand or whatever it may be, and kind of helping regulate those emotions of anxiety or frustration or whatever it may be in the situation. But they've also, yeah, they're very helpful in those situations as well.
Yeah, and Naomi, if I could ask, how did you get involved with Canine Companions? How did that happen?
Yeah, so it's a long story, but I'll try and do the highlights. So when I was 5, I decided that because of all my stuff, I have a lot of disabilities, but the primary is cerebral palsy. And I just really wanted help like around the house and doing stuff. I would drop everything. So when I was 5, I was like, I don't want to drop things anymore. I want some help with that. So I was like, I went up to my parents and I was like, I want a service dog. And they said, you get a wait. So I waited, and on my 12th birthday, I came back and I said, I want a service dog. And they're like, okay, which organization? And I found Canine Companions. Interestingly enough, one of my favorite places of all time is the library. And 2 weeks before I was 12, I turned 12, I ran into somebody who was from Canine Companions. I thought it was a sign. They were doing a puppy raising, and I was like, so what organization? And that's how I found out about Canine Companions. And and there went the rest of the story. I like when I turned 12, I looked into all the paperwork. I got everything ready to go, and that very day I got all the paperwork filled out and everything ready to go. And that's how the application process started. And I think it was about a year and a half later, I was able to get my in-person interview, and that was amazing. And then I got in and team training, and the rest is history, as they say. I've been there
Yeah.
ever since. And I was, yeah, so I got my first service dog, I think, right before I turned 14, and I'm turning 28 this year, which is pretty wild. So I've been in Canine Companions for the majority of my life. I never really stopped with Canine Companions. It's a community, it's a family, it's awesome.
Mm-hmm. And aside from, your dog helping you pick up things, what else can it do?
Yeah, so Windsor is great with a multitude of things. I would say the biggest help I've had personally is she helps pack my backpack currently. She helps me with laundry, which for me, I know it doesn't seem like it, but laundry is very hard for me. So like picking up the baskets, moving the baskets is very hard, especially with heavy clothing. So I put a little tug on the laundry baskets and she pulls the tugs and she loves doing that. I think one of her favorite things ever is learning how to do um, blocking. A cue that we have that I learned with her is to block since I have severe social anxiety. Is she just learned how to kind of go in front of me and keep space between people just because I used to get really bad panic attacks about when I was 15. So I just have a really hard time in crowded places, and she's excellent at that. Other than that, she helps me with everything really, but one thing that has been really helpful is doing transactions. So she will hop up, carry my wallet for me, and she even started learning how to open my wallet. She does this really cute thing where she goes,
Oh, so
I
she
like
learned. Oh, yeah, that's pretty
yeah. So
cool.
it's easier for me to pull out my like cash, credit cards, and she's just super helpful. She helps me clean up. That's really nice. Yeah, she's amazing. She's awesome.
Yeah, I'm sure she is. Now, Julia, if I could ask, since Canine Companions offers, service dogs at a low cost, how difficult is it for other service dog organizations to sort of provide access to service dogs? Because people like Naomi need it for various reasons to pick up stuff or to crowd in front of her every time she gets panic attacks. So like I know it's kind of a rum I kind of rambled a bit, but yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Well, there are a lot of different organizations out there, and we all have equally important work of providing these dogs to people who need them, and there is a huge need. There's, so many other people like Naomi and just of all different kinds that would benefit from our dogs and really and oftentimes rely on them and need them to live, their fullest life. Uh, so our at Canine Companions, we provide them at no cost, and we have, an immense amount of support in terms of donors and sponsors, and volunteers are a huge one. So we have volunteer puppy raisers who raise puppies from a year or from 8 weeks old to a year and a half, and kind of just get them through those earlier stages of life, and teaching them just the very basic socialization, and potty training, and the sit and the stay and the down. And then once they turn a year and a half, they'll turn into professional training on one of our campuses, where our uh, instructors kind of teach them the more complex tasks and skills that they'll eventually use as a service dog. So there's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of support, financial support, but also just time and energy, um, and dedication to our mission that makes it all possible. Um, so other in terms of Canine Companions, we provide them at no cost because we have so much support from the community, and from uh, our donors and our sponsors, and just different types of partnerships that we have all around the country. Um, so yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because yeah, service dogs provide an immense help. Naomi, do you remember in Do It? Do you remember Cody? Cody Hinckley? He had a service dog once, and it was like a golden lab, and it was so cool and awesome.
Yeah, oh my gosh, that brings me back so many memories. It's very, very cute, super cute. And it was really a great eye-opening experience because I had first gotten placed with my first dog, Libby. And so that was a whole new process. I'm more of like a veteran now, but yeah, it was really cute. And there's so many opportunities. I feel like from when I started with Canine Companions to now, the, there's such a community need for support and understanding and help, like just with education, like why service dogs exist in the first place to help with certain disabilities. Some people think, oh, this person looks, normal-ish, and like they don't realize they'll probably need a service dog. It's really great to see that of the expansion of education and how much it's grown in understanding why we need service dogs, why service dogs are such a need in the community, and how can we promote service dogs so even more people can be have access to service dogs.
Mm-hmm. Now, this next question I want to ask is like, 'cause oftentimes people rely on service dogs for various reasons, but other people rely on a caregiver, someone to help a person with a disability with certain tasks, certain things to do. So, like, how do you sort of juxtapose that? Does it depend on the person, or like, how do you sort of juxtapose the help between a caretaker and a service dog?
Oh, that is a great question. It's That's a great question. I have to think about it for a minute because I actually do have personal care assistants that I have, but I also use service dogs. So
Yeah.
it's different, especially since I'll say this, my disabilities have gotten severely worse since in the past 5 years, I would say. So I kind of need that extra support, at least day to day. But I feel like Canine Companions is such a it changed my life forever. And I thought it'd be, at 5, I thought it'd be cool to have a service dog. At 12, I thought it'd be so cool just to have help. But when I got into Canine Companions and really started understanding like their mission statement, like the amount of work they put through, like the amount of independence I gained from just having a service dog in general has been enormous. And some people will argue that, yeah, maybe you still need you know, PCAs, personal care assistants.
Hmm.
But they, you get so much freedom, I'm gonna say, from having a service dog because Personal care assistants are fabulous, and I actually have met several people who use both service dogs and personal care assistants. I think there's a need for both, right? Um, but especially in the case of service dogs, you just have so much more freedom and independence from like just picking up toys, whether it's picking up laundry and putting it in the basket, or just packing your backpack because who knew that would be such a task? And yet, if you have a service dog with you, it's so easy. Um, it really just, I think it's a case by case basis, to be honest, but I've gained so much freedom. And especially when I first had my first service dog, Libby, and at that time, I didn't really need a lot of assistance because Libby took care of all that. She was there at every turn. She really helped me bring out my social skills. She really helped me with
Yeah.
that. And who knew? I'm like,
Yeah, who
oh,
knew?
God. It really helps because like when you're an introvert like I am, I promise I'm an introvert. um, that was such a hard time for me, and even like going to like summer camps and stuff like that, I was so um anxious, but having Libby, I could talk about this is my service dog, Libby. She is, at that time she was 2.5. Like, this is what she helps me with. I can talk about Canine Companions. There's all this stuff I get to talk to, and that's like a social barrier that I could break through fairly easily. Um, so it really helps socially. It helps you mentally. It helps you around the house just to have somebody, aka your best friend, with you, just around. And like, I run into kids a lot. I work and volunteer with kids a lot nowadays, and it's so much fun. And there's so much opportunities for educational purposes. What is a service dog? Do you run and pet the service dog when they're working? Can you say hi to a service dog? How does the service dog help you? And stuff like that. So I hope that answered your question. I feel like I rambled there a little bit, but
No,
I
no, no,
think
not all.
there's a need for both, and they're both very helpful. And I would say it's a case by case basis. But truly, just having a service dog in general, amazing.
Yeah, I kind of see your point because, like, with service dogs, they're always there, but like, as with the person, you have to depend on their time, depend on their commitment. I remember having conversations with Blake about this, and he told me over email, like, "Oh, I've had to depend on certain caregivers. They don't show up.
Yes,
uh, they're not as very they don't know how to stick to schedules pretty often.
yes.
So yeah, he's told me that numerous times." So, Julia, if I could ask, like, what sorts of things do you guys do to sort of help get the word out there that Canine Companions really helps people with disabilities like Naomi to really get the service dogs that they need?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, awareness is a game changer. Some of the things we're doing here in Seattle specifically are, you know, news appearances. Naomi herself with Windsor has been on the news before, just kind of sharing about the organization and their partnership. Um, in Seattle specifically, also we partner with the Mariners in September for Bark at the Park, where we're the nonprofit of the game for 3 different games this season. So a portion of the dog tickets sold will are benefiting us and our mission. Um, we also have a gala every year at the Museum of Flight, where it's the best gala in the city, in my opinion. We have live and silent auctions. We premiere a short documentary film. There's a puppy parade, a dog thermometer, a great photo booth. Like it's just a really fun night. You know, raising money to place more dogs with more people. So those are just a few examples. But we have a social media presence. There's a lot of different things that go into it.
What about this summer? What are you guys doing this summer?
Yeah, this summer, on Sunday, actually, July 5th, we are partnering with the Jordan Fund, which is founded by John and Kelly Olerud, and John Olerud is a former first baseman for the Seattle Mariners. And so they have this the Jordan Fund essentially is a foundation that supports other nonprofits, specifically helping children with disabilities. So on July 5th, there is a game at the Mariners called Disability Day, or it's Disability Awareness Day. So there's going to be different uh, organizations they're representing, and we're going to be there. And it's just a great day to raise awareness about the importance of service, not only service dogs, but just resources and accessibility and education about people with disabilities. Um, on September 3rd is our annual peer-to-peer fundraiser that we also, like I mentioned, partner with the Mariners for Bark at the Park. So that's another uh, fun day in the summer that we're looking forward to. Or I guess it was 3 weeks ago now. We had 6 new clients graduate out of our Puget Sound field office. And we're gonna have our next class graduating in August, or sorry, actually in the first week of September, but team training starts in August. So we're just, trying to help shorten the wait list as much as possible. And yeah, we're excited. There's always a lot going on.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. If I could ask, what sort of impact does Canine Companions have on the greater disability community? If you could talk a little bit about that, what effect does like having a service dog, this organization, do to like people with disabilities establish, their sense of independence, confidence, what have you?
I mean, essentially providing enhanced independence is at the forefront of our mission, and um making these dogs accessible to people. Our dogs are valued at around $50,000. Just when you look at the lifetime of the training and the food and everything that goes into it. So the fact that we do provide them at no cost is um, pretty amazing. But it's really just about, providing independence, community, resources. We're educating people on, service dog fraud. And like September is National Service Dog Month, or we've kind of declared it as National Service Dog Month. So we get proclamations in different cities, counties, states all around the U.S. and kind of just raise awareness about, what qualifies as a real working service dog and how they should behave in public and just how to best represent the need for them.
Yeah, and Naomi, have you gotten together with former Canine Companion alums that have gotten their service dogs through there? And if so, what have you told them or what have they told you?
Oh, that's a great question. I have talked with a plethora of people who have graduated with Canine Companions, and one of the things I personally love about Canine Companions is like the richness of culture, community, and the different like lifestyles everybody lives. I learned so much. My last team training I went to was an amazing time. We were all uh, successor teams, which was really cool to be a part of. So it was amazing in several ways because the depth of knowledge service teams brings, especially at like from their first service dog to successor dogs, it's quite amazing because you get to see like there has to be enormous I don't know if you've heard of internal locus. It's something I learned in
No.
college, but internal locus, I'll see if I can remember properly. But it's this like just inner drive to get stuff done and like internal drive to be the best person you could possibly be. And that's what one of the many things I learned from my fellow alumni was this, like we all had this huge internal locus to make our lives better. And one of the ways we saw that happening was to have a service dog by our sides and to have a best friend. And that has transformed, we've all agreed. multiple times that has transformed our lives. Like without Libby, I would not be able to on podcasts and like, go to events, go to like I went to New York with Libby. That was my first time flying, and I don't think I would be able to do that without Libby. Um, and doing all these huge things for the community and for ourselves is it just promotes this just beautiful community that we all kind of intersect and kind of meld with, because having a service dog, it just, I don't know how else to put it, it transforms your lives for the better, because it just gives you so much happiness to have somebody by your side all the time. They become your best friend. It's so much safer to me and easier to go to places if I know I have Windsor by my side. Like it's scary to go to like cafes without Windsor, and it's scary to go to the grocery store because there's so many things you have to think about as somebody who has a lot of disabilities. And it's like, as somebody who is disabled, I'll claim that, right? You have to think about parking, transportation. You have to think about, am I going to have enough energy to get my weekly groceries? Like, am I going to be able to go out and see my friends this week? Like, there's all these stuff because you have to manage like I call it managing your disability. But sometimes you have to manage your disability. But with a service dog, it takes the load off so much because you're like, Windsor can get the backpack, Windsor can get the food, or not the food, but like, the groceries, or Windsor can help with this, and Windsor could do that for me. And having a best friend, a team, because Windsor's my teammate, it helps so much. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Lastly, if I could ask this last question, how can canine companions, like be that sorts of support, sorts of for people with disabilities, whenever they need it, because again, it's important that people with disabilities have service dogs and that they're entitled to it. So like, how do you make sure that people with disabilities have those kinds of things that they need to succeed in their life?
That's a great question. I would say keep doing what you're doing. I know that is sometimes a cliche, but I really am so proud of like how much Canine Companions has transformed over the years I've been there. Having a Seattle office, I know has been such a fabulous thing that has happened in this area. And I'm sure there's other places like because we have, I think we have training centers and centers all over the US, I'm gonna say, Julia. This is to you, like Texas, like New York. So just having more expanded offices, having a Seattle office, there's a huge, I feel like the Seattle office was able to promote more resources for the community, and sometimes that looks like having more people to talk to. Maybe that's I'm having a hard time with my puppy raiser. Like being a puppy raiser, you kind of need some resources. Hey, I'm having a really hard time getting that 8-week-old puppy to settle down and fall asleep. Can I talk to anybody? You have weekly puppy sessions or like puppy class. That's such a boon. And also, you have a great resource of having, I think it's Zoom sessions now, where you have like no, it's puppy workshop. That's also great for puppy raisers, volunteer puppy raisers. And I think it's just like more education, more visibility. It's kind of like the foundations, as you know, like getting the word out there and promoting is really invaluable, but also maintaining, you know, ties to the community, reaching out with, newsletters and stuff like that, which Canine Companions does all of that, which I think sets them apart, at least for me, from different organizations that I have seen over the years. And I think it's fabulous. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anything you'd like to add, Julia?
Yeah, I think I'll just kind of echo what she said is with about community, like the support that is felt and heard within the Companions community is very strong. We have volunteer chapters all across the country. the local one being the Puget Sound chapter. So like it's so palpable. Like if people need a pet sitter, or like Nomi said, had a question about like a training advice or anything, like our people show up and will provide support. I actually have a recently heard of a client who um is has just been struggling to find time to exercise her service dog, and so she put a call out to the volunteer chapter to see if anyone would volunteer to help with walks, and she got like 20 responses within like an hour of people saying yes, like I'll come, I can come at this time on this day, like just an influx of support. And people just love to help, and people who are involved in this mission, like it's a shared passion for what we do and providing dogs to people who need them. A lot of people say they come for the dogs, but they stay for the people, um, because of those connections. So it's kind of a cool to see how everyone shows up for each other.
And what can people do to find out more information about Canine Companions, about the event that you guys be doing at T-Mobile Park, the gala, the all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I would say visit canine.org/Seattle, and that has kind of all the information you need to know about what we're doing here locally.
All right. Okay, on that note,